दरवाजा से बोली congenital malformation of female genital tract. Introduction. From the embryological consideration, the following facts can be deduced. Developmental anomalies of the external genitalia along with ambiguity of sex are usually genetic in origin. Major anatomical defect of the genital tract is usually skeletal malformation 2% and normal gonadal function, while minor abnormality escapes attention. It is the moderate or severe form which will produce gynecological and obstetrical problem. Developmental anomalies of the external genitalia. Perineal or vestibular anus. The entity is detected at birth. The anal opening is situated either close to the posterior end of the vestibule or in the vestibule. There is no problem in future reproduction. The delivery should be by caesarean section. Another is the ectopic ureter. The additional ureteric opening is usually in the vestibule, close to the urethra or in the vagina. Partial nephrectomy and ureterectomy may be indicated, or implantation of the ectopic ureter into the bladder may be done. Vaginal abnormality. The significant abnormalities include narrow introitus, hymen abnormality, septum, agenesis, and associated abnormalities. Now the narrow introitus. The existence is revealed after marriage. Dyspareunia may be the first complaint. Treatment is effective by manual stretching under general anesthesia or by surgical enlargement. Hymen abnormality. Imperforate hymen, it is due to failure of disintegration of the central cells of the Mullerian eminence that projects into the urogenital sinus, unnoticed until the girl attains the age of 14 to 16 years. As the uterus is functioning normally, the menstrual blood is pent up inside the vagina behind the hymen, that is cryptomenorrhea. It first distends the vagina, that is hematocolpus. The uterus is next involved and the cavity is dilated, that is hematometra. In late and neglected cases, the tubes may be distended after the fimbrial ends are closed by adhesion, that is hematosalpinx. Now the clinical features. There is periodic lower abdominal pain which may be continuous, and there is primary amenorrhea. Urinary symptoms such as frequency, dysuria, or even retention of urine. In significant cases, the presenting features may be retention of urine, and the cause of retention is due to elongation of the urethra. Now, abdominal examination reveals a suprapubic swelling, which may be uterine or full bladder. Prior catheterization reveals the true state. Vulvar inspection reveals a tense bulging membrane of bluish coloration. The obstructive membrane is a transverse vaginal septum close to the inner aspect of the hymen. Rectal examination reveals the bulged vagina. Ultrasonography can make the diagnosis of hematometra and hematocolpus. Treatment is the cruciate incision is made in the hymen, and the quadrant of the hymen are partially excised, not close to the vaginal mucosa. A spontaneous escape of dark tarry colored blood is allowed. Pressure from above should not be given. Then internal examination also should not be done. Antibiotic should be given. Now vaginal maldevelopments. Common variation of vaginal maldevelopments are agenesis of vagina, failure of vertical fusion, failure of lateral fusion. Ecological factors. The probable causes are polygenic, multifactorial, teratogens or environmental. Pathology of Mullerian malformation. It may be due to failure of formation of vaginal plate or due to its failure of canalization or cavitation. Vertical fusion defects result in failure of fusion of Mullerian system with urogenital sinus. It may also be due to incomplete or segmental canalization of the vagina. Disorders of lateral fusion are also due to failure of two Mullerian ducts to unite. This results in double uterovaginal canals. Such malformations may be obstructive or non-obstructive. Transverse vaginal septa are due to faulty fusion or canalization of the urogenital sinus and the Mullerian ducts. About 45% occur in upper vagina, 40% in mid vagina and 15% in the lower vagina. Septum located in the lower vagina is often complete and the signs and symptoms are similar to that of imperforate hymen. Ultrasonography is a useful investigation to detect hematometra, hematocolpus and also urinary malformation. Septum in the upper vagina is often perforated. Incision of a complete imperforate septum becomes easy when the upper vagina is distended. This reduces the risk of injury to adjacent organs. Otherwise, abdomino-vaginal approach is made. Longitudinal septum of the vagina may be present when the distal part of Mullerian duct failed to fuse, fusion failure. It may be associated with double uterus, double cervix. It may be asymptomatic and needs no treatment, but it may cause dyspareunia or may obstruct delivery. Now the partial agenesis of upper vagina. A segment of vagina may be atretic in the upper third. It is often associated with hypoplasia or even absence of cervix. Uterus may be normal and functioning or malformed. Primary amenorrhea, cryptomenorrhea, hematometra, hematocolpus, cyclic lower abdominal pain and presence of lower abdominal mass. Now the abdomino-vaginal approach is made to establish communication between uterovaginal canal above and newly created vagina below. Prosthesis is used to prevent re-stenosis. Assisted reproductive technology would be option when desired using a surrogate uterus. Complete agenesis. Complete agenesis of vagina is almost always associated with absence of uterus. However, presence of healthy gonads and fallopian tubes, the patient is phenotypically female with normal female karyotype pattern. The entity is often associated with the urinary tract 40% and the skeletal 12% malformation. It is called Mayer-Rokitansky-Kusher-Hauser syndrome. Now the treatment of such patients need repeated psychological counseling. Often they are depressed concerning their sexual and reproductive life. Treatment options are non-surgical method 1 and second is surgical. First, the non-surgical method is repeated use of graduated vaginal dilators for a period of 6 to 12 months. And surgical method is various procedures of vaginal reconstruction, vaginoplasty are done. Now, Mackendorf-Reed procedure in 1938. A space is created digitally between the bladder and the rectum. Split thickness skin graft is used over a mold. This mold is kept in this neovaginal space. Now, Williams vulvovaginoplasty in 1976 by Williams. A vaginal pouch is created from skin flaps of the labia majora in midline. This is not done these days. Vaginoplasty with amnion graft. Complications of vaginoplasty are: during surgery there is chances of VVF, UVF infection and bleeding are the important ones. Dyspareunia, re-stenosis are common late complications. Now the associated abnormalities. Associated abnormality is other associated abnormalities. Now vaginal fistula is formed when the Mullerian eminence ruptures into the vesico-urethral part of cloaca instead of pelvic part of urogenital sinus. Rectovaginal fistula when the Mullerian eminence opens in the dorsal segment of the endodermal cloaca. Persistent urogenital sinus with various irregularities of urethra and vaginal orifices in the sinus. Now, uterine abnormalities. American Fertility Society classification of Mullerian anomalies in 1988. Class 1 is Mullerian agenesis or hypoplasia, that is segmental. Second, A is vaginal, cervical, uterine or total or combined. This is class 1. Now the class 2, uniconvex uterus with or without rudimentary horn, and class 3 is uterus diadelphus. So one is the Mullerian agenesis or hypoplasia segmental. Another one is the class 2 unicornuate uterus with or without rudimentary horn, and class 3 is the uterus diadelphus. Now class 4 is bicornuate uterus, complete to internal os or partial. Now class 5 is septate uterus, that is complete or incomplete. Class 6 is arcuate uterus, and class 7 is diethyl stilbestrol related DES related anomalies. Then incidence of Mullerian abnormalities varies from 3 to 4%. Failure of development of one or both Mullerian duct. The absence of both ducts leads to absence of uterus including oviducts. There is absence of second is absence of vagina as well. First one is the absence of both ducts leads to absence of uterus including oviduct, means fallopian tube. And second one is the absence of vagina as well. That is primary amenorrhea is the chief complaint. Now failure of recanalization of Mullerian ducts. Agenesis of upper vagina or of the cervix, and this may lead to hematometra as the uterus is functioning. Failure of fusion of Mullerian duct. The detection is made accidentally during investigation of infertility or repeated pregnancy loss or wastage. The diagnosis is made during D&E operation, manual removal of placenta, or during cesarean section. Now, types of fusion anomalies. The first one is the arcuate, 18%. The arcuate part of the uterus remains separated. The cornual parts of the uterus remains separated, that is arcuate uterus. And the uterine fundus looks concave with heart-shaped cavity outline. This is arcuate uterus. This occurs in 18% of the patients. Now, uterus diadelphus, that is 8%. There is complete lack of fusion of Mullerian duct with a double uterus, double cervix and a double vagina. Uterus bicornus, that is 26%. This is there is varying degree of fusion of muscle wall of the two ducts. Now, uterus bicornis bicolis. There are two uterine cavities with double cervix with or without vaginal septum. Now, uterus bicornis unicolis. There are two cavities, uterine cavities with one cervix. This is called uterus bicornis unicolis. There is two uterine cavities with one cervix, and the horns may be equal or one horn may be rudimentary and have no communication with the developed horn. Means uterus bicornis unicolis, two uterine cavity with one cervix, and the horns may be equal or one horn may be rudimentary, and that is the commonest site for the ectopic pregnancy. And sometimes there is no communication with the developed horn. Septate uterus, that is 35%. The two Mullerian ducts are fused together, but there is persistence of septum in between the two, either partially subseptate or completely. Now, uterus unicornis, that occurs in 10%. The incidence is 10%. Failure of development of one Mullerian duct. DES related abnormality. It is due to DES exposure during intrauterine life. Varieties of malformation. Malformations are included like vaginal adenosis, adenocarcinoma. That DES related, that is adenosis, vaginal adenosis or adenocarcinoma in later life. Cervix, there is coxcomb cervix, cervical collar, and in uterus there is hypoplasia, T-shaped cavity and uterine synechia formation. In fallopian tubes, cornual budding, abnormal fimbria. Now the clinical features. As previously mentioned, the condition may not be produce any clinical manifestation. Gynecological infertility and dyspareunia are often related in association with vaginal septum. Now, dysmenorrhea is in bicornuate uterus or due to cryptomenorrhea. Menstrual disorder is menorrhagia, cryptomenorrhea can occur. Menorrhagia is due to increased surface area in bicornuate uterus. Now, obstetrical. Mid-trimester miscarriage which may be recurrent. There is rudimentary horn pregnancy. May occur due to transperitoneal migration of sperm or ovum from the opposite side. Cornual pregnancy, ectopic pregnancy, inevitable ends in rupture around 16 weeks. Cervical incompetence, increased incidence of malpresentation, transverse lie in arcuate or subseptate uterus, breach in bicornuate uterus, unicornuate uterus, or complete septate uterus. Preterm labor, IUGR or IUD. Prolonged labor due to incoordinate uterine action. Obstructed labor, obstruction by non-gravid horn or the biconnuate uterus or the rudimentary horn. Retained placenta and postpartum hemorrhage. Maybe placenta is implanted over the uterine septum. Diagnosis. Internal examination reveals septate vagina and 2 cervix. Passage of sound can diagnose 2 separate cavities. The clinical diagnosis is made during uterine curettage. Clinical diagnosis can be made during uterine curettage, manual removal of placenta, and during cesarean section. Then several investigations in different combinations are done, such as histography, hysteroscopy, laparoscopy, ultrasonography by vaginal probe, and MRI. Ultrasonography and MRI are non-invasive procedures. The renal tract abnormality in association with Mullerian abnormality is about 40%. Skeletal system abnormality is 12% associated. Treatment. Only presence of any uterine malformation is not an indication of surgical intervention. Reproductive outcome. Better obstetric outcome in septate uterus 86%. Bicornuate uterus 50% has been mentioned. Unicornuate uterus has very poor 40% pregnancy outcome. Uterus diadelphus has best possibility of successful pregnancy, that is 64%. Unification operation is generally not needed. And rudimentary horn should be excised to reduce the risk of ectopic pregnancy, that is incidence of 8%. Then unification operation, that is bicornuate uterus or septate uterus, is therefore indicated in otherwise unexplained cases with uterine malformation. Abdominal metroplasty could be done either by excising the septum, that is Stresemann operation, or Jones and Jones operation, or by incising the septum, that is Tompkins operation. Now hysteroscopy metroplasty is more commonly done. Resection of septum can be done either by resectoscopy or by laser. Advantage of this hysteroscopy is high success rate, that is 80 to 89%. Short hospital stay, reduced post-operative morbidity, infection or adhesion, and subsequent chance of vaginal delivery is high compared to abdominal metroplasty, where cesarean section is mandatory. Now the abnormalities of fallopian tubes. These all are the abnormality of vagina, cervix, and above mentioned is the abnormality of uterus, cervix, and vagina. Now the abnormalities of the fallopian tubes. The tubes may be unduly elongated, may be accessory ostia or diverticulum will be present. These conditions may lower the infertility or favor ectopic pregnancy. Another is the anomalies of the ovaries. There may be streak gonad or gonadal dysgenesis, which are usually associated with errors of sex chromosomal pattern. Second one is the rarely supernumerary ovaries, may be found 1 in 29,000 in the broad ligament or elsewhere. Now the Wolffian remnant abnormalities. The outer end of the Wolffian or Gartner duct may be cystic size of a pea, often pedunculated, hydrated of the Morgagni, and attached near the outer end of the tube. A cystic swelling from the Gartner duct may appear in the anterolateral wall of the vagina, which may be confused with cystocele, that is Gartner duct cyst, and also now the parovarian cyst. It arises from vestigial remnant of Wolffian tissue situated in the mesosalpinx between tube and the ovary. The cyst is unilocular and the wall is thin and contains clear translucent fluid. The wall consists of connective tissue lined by single layer of low columnar epithelium. Other abnormalities are labia minora, labial fusion. True fusion is due to developmental defect, and another one is the inflammatory. Now the abnormalities of labia majora. Hyperplastic, above was the abnormalities of labia minora, labial fusion, true fusion or inflammatory fusion. Labia majora, hyperplastic or hypoplastic labia. Second one is the abnormal fusion in adrenogenital syndrome. Clitoral abnormalities, clitoromegaly and clitoral index more than 10 square millimeter, and may be due to intrauterine exposure of excess androgen and often associated with various intersex problems. Now the perineum. Perineum differentiates from the area of contact between urorectal septum mesoderm and the dorsal wall of cloaca, that is endoderm, at about 7th week. This site of contact between the two is the perineal body. Now imperforate anus or anal stenosis or fistula are the result of abnormal development of urorectal septum. The anal fistula may open into posterior aspect of the vestibule of the vagina. Thank you.